if you learn how to use Claude Cowork from Entrophic, it's gonna change how you work forever. What if I told you you can delegate literally hours of your daily work to an AI agent that's gonna run on your computer and complete tasks for you? It can manage your files, create documents, open applications, or even make tasks for you right inside your own browser. So it actually works like a chatbot, but not only gives you advice or creates content, it takes action and performs tasks for you based on single prompts you give it. So in this chapter, you are gonna master Claude Cowork. Here's what we'll cover. So in this video, we'll cover what Claude Cowork is and how it works, what's the difference between Claude Cowork and Claude Code, how to use it to save literally hours every day, we'll cover a few practical cases of this feature, how to use it in your browser, and much more. So the first thing we need to understand is what Claude Cowork's gonna do for us and what it's gonna solve. So basically, most desk work doesn't need a human. It needs an AI that understands context, takes action, and works in plain language. So basically, you know the flow when you, for example, like switch between apps. You do multiple different things. So you lose hours every day by organizing, renaming, and moving files manually, formatting the same reports week after week or creating them, switching between apps, losing focus each time. So let's say on average you lose 2.5 hours of your time daily on repetitive tasks. However, here Claude Cowork comes. And Claude Cowork is our AI desktop coworker. So you can describe any task and Cowork can manage our files, write reports, does research and automates workflows. And it's gonna be a huge shift into AI space. Because actually we've got our LLM models, obviously, yeah? We've got Claude, we've got ChatGPT, Grok and so on. But they can only advise us what to do. Basically they can create content. But actually Claude Cowork is gonna handle everything. It's gonna handle our files, manage our files. It can even open our browser and do something in it once you are, for example, doing other tasks. So it's gonna really save you a lot of time. So here it lives on your actual desktop. No code, no technical setup. Files, docs, research apps, all of it. So plain language, instant action. And once you combine Claude, basically use Claude Cowork, so we combine LLM with actually an application that can actually act instead of advising, you're done. You can save time on repetitive tasks while maintaining your focus. So the only thing, you describe the outcome, so what you want to get by a single prompt, and then it does it for you in the background. So you can reclaim your day every single day. But now we need to understand something really crucial, the relevance of Claude Cowork and Claude Code and the differences. Because it's the same Claude engine, however, two entry points. One is built for developers, one is built for everyone else, so for non-technical users. So Claude Code for developers, this is a coding agent in our terminal that helps us build, run and deploy software with full code base and system access. So you can execute the code, build and deploy software. We've gotten access to full code base, Git and terminal. However, it requires developer terminal knowledge and most non-developers never try it, which is a huge actually loss, okay? Because let me now tell you the history about Claude Cowork, how it was even invented. Basically, developers realized that people, like the coding people, were doing weird tasks inside Claude Cowork. They were planning vacations, like writing something, creating images and doing other different stuff, okay? And developers thought supposedly like people are gonna use Claude Code only for coding, only for projects. But basically it became a tool literally for everything. So that's how and that's why the Claude Cowork was invented. This is basically the same, however it allows non-technical users to use it. It also runs code as Claude Code actually, but once again we've got very interactive and very easy to use interface that we are gonna learn in this entire video. However, Claude Cowork, it's our AI desktop coworker. It manages files, writes reports, does research and automate workflows in plain English. Lives on our desktop, plain English, no comments needed as we need in Claude Code, zero technical knowledge required. available to anyone with Claude. That's why you probably see a lot of materials on the internet about Claude Cowork. It's becoming really popular because once again, it does crazy stuff. So Claude Code unlocks Claude for developers, Cowork unlocks Claude for everyone. No terminal, no code, no setup. And to access a Claude Cowork, we need to download a Claude desktop app. And here also have a pro subscription. And once we've got it, here at the top in the middle, we've got 3 different tabs: Chat, Cowork, and Code. So now basically we can click on Cowork, and then this specific interface appears. And now it's really interesting because actually inside our chat, we can basically provide comments, and also we can give our Claude access to a specific folder. And basically we've got also there 3 different models, so Opus 4.6, we've got Sonnet 4.6, which is the most efficient model, and Haiku 4.5. So basically this is the best model out there right now on the internet. Nevertheless, right now, what we can do, we can actually give Claude access to our desktop folder, so we can click allow, and then we are gonna perform some specific task. So basically this is my desktop, and the problem I have, I've got here a big mess. So now we can go ahead to Claude and type something like: organize all files into subfolders based on file type, create categories such as documents, images, screenshot, and miscellaneous. Within each folder, sort files by date, rename every file by adding the date, which is year, month, day, format at the beginning of the file name to ensure consistent and easy sorting. Now we can click let's go, and now just look what happens basically. Once we do this, Claude Cowork is gonna have access to our desktop folder, and it's gonna sort for us every single file right here. What's also very crucial, at the right side of the page, we've got our sidebar with 3 different tabs. So basically the progress, desktop, and context. So in the progress, you're gonna see the entire plan of actually executing your specific task. So in that case, just sorting my files. So firstly, we've got scanning workspace folder for all files, creating category subfolders, renaming each file, moving files into appropriate subfolders, and verifying the final folder structure. So as you can see right now, it actually does everything for me. So let's take a look. We've got miscellaneous. Now we've got the screenshots folder, and then it's gonna actually do something as this one. As you can see, it hidden like all my screenshots inside these folders. So it's amazing, like it controlled my entire desktop. So now let's take a look, and even it renamed the screenshots. So we've got the exact date literally within seconds, okay? So it did it for me. I could have spent it for this task, let's say like 30 minutes to, for example, like review every file, like rename it and do all of this stuff. But Claude did everything for me like within seconds. So all done. Your desktop is now fully organized. Here is a summary of what was done. Screenshot, 12 images, 12 screenshots, 14 JPG slide images, 3 documents, and 1 miscellaneous, so 1 template file, and everything literally within seconds. Another thing I'm gonna do, and it usually wastes me a lot of time, is sorting my invoices. So for example, I've got a folder with invoices from 2 months. And here I've got a specific prompt. Please help me to organize my invoices and files related to them. Please create 2 subfolders called December invoices and January invoices and put the relevant files here. I can give it an access to my invoices. So let's open this specific folder, give an access. Also, you can enable always allow. However, be careful because you need to be careful what Claude can access or what not. Because if you have some sensitive documents, for sure you don't want Claude to get access to it. So just simply you can control which folders you want to give. So for now, let's click on let's go. And then we are gonna see what's gonna happen. First, it's gonna create for us a plan. Also, another thing, if you wanna firstly to create a plan before just processing something, make sure to write inside the prompt, please create for me a plan before processing. Or even before, create a backup of your files. So if something urgent and really harsh happens, like Claude, by mistake removes your files or something, then it's you have a backup, so you're fine. But now let's see what happens. So firstly, it takes a look inside our folder, and once again it's amazing because it controls what we have inside our desktop. So it's not a typical LLM that's gonna tell you, okay, just create this folder named January invoices, do this, do this, do this, but it's gonna take action, which is a huge step. So first it's scanning PDF files, then it creates the folder for us and it moves the files into the correct folders. Okay, so now basically it's completing our entire task. So let's take a look in Finder, and it created 2 folders, and now it's gonna organize all the files inside. So now, as you can see, it's dropping them basically. And what's even very impressive is that like there are no dates of the files. So that means Claude had to go inside each specific file and look for a date inside a specific invoice, okay? To make sure that the invoice is, for example, for December or January. And now just take a look, it's amazing. So we've got invoices basically categorized properly. So for example, inside December invoices, let's take a look on this invoice. This invoice is from December. Yeah, that's correct. And this one also is from December. That's correct. So task was successfully completed. Now let me show you something even more crazy, because we can allow Claude to access our browser and actually do things in it. So we need to type something like Claude Chrome extension, and we need to go to this first link. So Claude in Chrome, and here added to Chrome. Right now I've got it added, basically. This is the extension I have. And then what you need to do is to log into your Claude account. And afterwards, as you can see here, let me show you. There is this specific highlight that appears inside your browser. So it means like this specific page is basically controlled by Claude. And we can go back to Claude and type something like, let's open the new chat. Please could you open for me an X inside my browser and search for Claude plugins news? I can do this basically. And then once we've got our extension enabled and we log in inside our account, Claude account, it's gonna be able to open our browser and literally control everything and do everything for us. So now we are just waiting for the start. And now just take a look what is happening. So it's getting our tabs, and now we need to allow Claude to access the X. And then what we can do, let's go ahead and manage here. Go here to our browser. My hands are here. Actually, it opens for us the tab. Let's maybe open it and see what is going inside. So do you see these borders? It means Claude is working inside your windows. So it successfully just, search for Claude plugins news. So here it's just operating the entire thing, okay? So now let's see what it's doing right now. And the page is loading and it searches for any news inside our X, all right? And actually really interesting point is that Claude fetches all the details from the specific page, and it can even return for you these details. So it searches the web for you on live without just doing it in the background, okay? So it can literally do for you everything, like even create for you a Canva project. In a while, I'm gonna show you something really interesting. However, right now, let Claude end its task. So here what we have, the page is loading, X is open, and the search for Claude plugins news is showing the latest results. You can see post including, all right. And now maybe I can type something else. All right, but now search for Claude skills news and give me here in the chat some details about it. All right, and now let's open the browser. Let's take a look if it does the thing I wanted. So as you can see, it opened the search engine and searched for Claude skills news without me even touching that. That's amazing. And now it's gonna return for us some information. So it gave me information about Claude skills, and that's totally amazing. But let's try to do something more complex. Now please could you open for me Skool.com, go to my AI enthusiast community and create a new post about our Claude Masterclass, Claude Cowork Code Skills Plugins course being released on March 28th. Create a nice compelling post and at the end add a joke. So let's take a look if it works as we want. So let's just open the browser, just keep my hands here and take a look. Alright, so now probably it's gonna navigate to Skool, okay? In the right top corner we've got the Claude interface. So we are waiting, attempted to navigate a Skool for community. Okay, we need to allow an access. Okay, so it opened the Skool.com. Let's take a look if it's gonna open for me my AI enthusiast community. So as you can see, it's amazing because it loaded other community here on Skool. However, it said, I see Skool is loaded. I can spot the community switcher on the left. Let me click the AI enthusiast community icon to switch to the AI enthusiast community. And now it navigated to this community. So we wait till it just clicks here and creates a post. Okay, so it clicked on a create a post button. And then we'll just take a look what it's gonna create for us. So that's pretty amazing because it can click buttons, it can access any website, it can access anything in your browser and literally do it from a single prompt, okay? And another thing, it's really accurate, I would say. It's really accurate because with this technology you would actually suppose like sometimes it makes errors. However, I found that Claude Cowork is kind of really accurate in what it does. So let's take a look if we need to accept something. No, we are right now waiting for the content to be created. And another thing is great that it actually documentates everything it does. So it created for me a title, perfect. Now the body of the post. Let's take a look, like it gives even like, wow, the icon. It's amazing. And now probably it's gonna fulfill for us the content, I believe. So let me try using clipboard paste to fill the body. Okay, so let's take a look. And successfully it pasted for me the content, created the entire post from scratch. So we've got a perfect title here, we've got the entire description and everything basically from just going to this specific page to finding my group to creating the perfect title and creating the content was done by Claude Cowork. So that's amazing, and this is the true power of this amazing tool. Quick announcement, if you wanna learn Claude from start to finish, so learn Claude Cowork, code, skills and plugins, on 28th of March we are releasing our Claude Masterclass. That's gonna be approximately 20 hours long. And here it's important part because in the description of this video I'm gonna put a link to the form, and when you fulfill the form you provide your email. Once it's released I'm gonna send you a discount code for this specific class and it's gonna only cost you $10 for lifetime access to it. However, it's limited to only 100 users. So once again, go to the description, fulfill the form, and then I'm gonna send you an access to my specific masterclass. It's gonna be a comprehensive masterclass about Claude Cowork, code, skills, plugins. So it's really worth it. You've got the lifetime access to it. So yeah, feel free to do this. So right now I hope you see that Claude Cowork is really powerful. Now let me show you something else. So once you are inside Claude, you can go to customize, and here you've got something called connectors, and connectors basically allow you to connect Claude with some specific applications. So for example, you can connect Notion, here you can click on plus and just browse connections. You've got Gmail, you've got Canva, you've got Figma, like any application, and basically you can combine Cowork with these applications, okay, and give Claude access to these specific apps. It's really powerful because once again, you can connect Claude Cowork, basically Claude with Google Calendar, and then, for example, Cowork can schedule your meetings, manage your meetings. You can connect it to Slack, and then it's gonna, for example, write messages for you or do something else. So you've got plenty of different applications you can use, and for sure, I really recommend you to go here and experiment with it. But the last thing I want to show you today is how Claude Cowork manages to create presentations, because I think it's a huge time-saving technique to basically use Claude Cowork to create presentations as you want. For example, you can give ready context, ready documents or something and create the presentation, or just type something like this. Please prepare a few-page presentation that would include a comprehensive overview of the best time-saving techniques that can can be applied in everyday work. Please also include useful applications that can improve work comfort. I can click on let's go, and then it's gonna create for me a perfect presentation. Once again, we've got here the progress, the context. By the way, on this channel, probably right now you're able to see tutorials about Claude skills and Claude plugins. If not, they are gonna appear in a few days. However, here on this channel, you can really master Claude. So skills is kind of a recipe for a task to perform, okay? So basically it contains all the instructions. I show exactly how to build skills, how to manage skills, and all of the stuff inside my video about the skills. And the plugins are kind of basically experts in different fields. So for example, plugin can be about customer support, and inside you've got all the instructions, even skills, how to perform some tasks, and yeah, this is really powerful. And when you combine it with Claude Cowork, it's gonna change how you work. However, right now we've got the progress, so we read firstly our skill documentation. So we've got a skill that creates for us presentations, that's amazing. And then what we'll do, we'll write the script, we'll run the script to generate the PowerPoint presentation, where we'll convert slides to images, then it will review and fix any issues and copy final file to workspace folder. Alright, so after some time what we have is 11 slides presentation. We can view it here, right there, and it's gonna appear at the right side. Alright, let's take a look. Or even we can open it in Keynote. And now just take a look how amazing that is. This is the first slide, this is the second slide, and look on the colors, on basically what we get inside. This is fully created by Claude Cowork without us doing literally anything. The content is really high quality, we've got multiple different sections, and just now imagine, when you create presentations, how much time you spend on them. I would say a few hours or even sometimes more, because for sure we want to have the best content and provide the best content. Remember, this is the presentation where I didn't even give any information from me. If you give some documents, some context, some things you want to have in a presentation, it's gonna create it for you. Now let's open it in a Keynote and let's take a look. Once we open it, like, just take a look how amazing that is. We've got the entire presentation. Even we can, for example, like change something here, or just switch the position if we don't like something, or even just ask Claude to do it for us. And I can say we've got it. Thank you so much for watching this material. If you enjoyed it, leave me a like, click the subscribe button. Also remember about Claude Masterclass. You can sign up by using the form that will be in the description of this video. Here you get the course for $10. There are only 100 spots, so hurry up. It's gonna be a complete Claude Masterclass about Cowork, code skills and plugins, so feel free to check it out. For now, once again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video on this channel.